Good morning to all the participants of CEM Barcelona. I missed the chance to present on site with you, so I'm taking this opportunity to interact online. My topic of presentation is India's CEMs market, which I'm going to share with you how influenced it is with the European Union model. And as large as this sector is going to be, it also opens huge opportunities for all the stakeholders who are related to automated measuring system or SAMs across the world. Let me start with sharing with how India is digitalizing its environmental governance system, which is a crucial plan of India's sustainable development. Right from the environmental clearance system, permit renewal system, compliance reporting, pollution monitoring and reporting, all these things have been digitalized. SAMS is one of the part which is helping in pollution monitoring and reporting system. It started since 2014 February. All the major sectors, which we call here in India as 17 categories of highly polluting industries, are required to install emission monitoring system, continuous emission monitoring system, beside continuous effluent quality monitoring system, and those who are not discharging any effluent outside, they are also required to install PTZ camera, flow meter, and send all this data to central regulator, which we call CPCB, and respective state regulator, which is SPCB, State Pollution Control Board. In India, industries have been categorized into four groups. One, the highest polluting ones, which are called red category industry. 17 categories are a list of 17 major ones, which is among them. Among them, 60 of red category industries. Next comes the orange category, mild polluting. Lesser than that is green one, and white one category, which is non-polluting ones. SEMS, as per the central regulator, it is supposed to be installed by 17 categories of industries. This includes integrated steel making, power sector, petrochemical, fertilizer, all these highly polluting industrial sectors. Besides effluent and air quality and emission monitoring, these industries are also supposed to install continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations, which is also an important part of it. But it has been required since long before requirement of CEMS. So as per regulation, as per the direction by central regulator, as of now, SEMS has been installed by 17 categories of industries, major industries, I would say now onwards. There are 6,000 of them and sending 30,000 data sets to the central regulator as well as their state regulator. This is as per the instruction of CPCB. Beyond these 6,000 I'm talking about, there are 100,000 industries which are also supposed to install SEMS and effluent quality monitor, which we call CEQMS, mandated by their state. So this makes the overall installation numbers to much higher. Overall, the market size right now is around $1 billion of US dollar. This is continuously growing. The majority of new installation goes to the medium scale industries. There are replacement and huge demand of continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations is going ahead because of the focus of the central government to enlarge its air quality monitoring network under National Clean Air Plan. This is the overall scheme of real-time monitoring which is running in India. Focusing to CEMS, or which you call automated measuring system, scheme is simpler. The industry, which is user, have to select its own technology. They have to install it, get it calibrated. Of course, there is guideline for that. They have to do real-time monitoring, and the data has to be sent through a data logger or Internet of Technology, which we say IoT, a device. Through it, it has to be sent to the central regulator, to the state regulator, and has also to display on the web portals. Majority of the parameters, majority of the industries are supposed to monitor PM, SO2, NOx, mercury, oxygen and CO2, fluorine, and ammonia across different sectors wherever it is applicable. But the system is unique. India has chosen a hybrid model. It allows European Union model where you install certified equipments, type approved equipments, but it also gives opportunity to the industry to choose whether they go for the US based model, which is non-certified equipments are also allowed. So it is up to the industries. They choose certified equipments, type 1 approved equipments, and in that case, they need to follow all those processes and requirement which is supposed to be followed as per the UE model. So right from selection, if your equipment is certified, which is under Qual 1, as per 14181, EN 15267, during installation, you have to meet the requirement of EN 15259 for the correct installations. You do have to check for the stability and calibration during installation. You do have to do the Qual 2 for functionality test and assessment. And while operating, time to time, periodically, you have to go for the Qual 3 and annually for AST, annual test. On the other hand, the industry which are supposed to install, which have choose to install non-certified equipments, they do have to follow all this process, but those process are which are US specific models. So these equipments are normally non-certified ones, which Indian vendors or from US or from anywhere they supply to the market. Majorly, these are into the medium scale industries who cannot afford the costly certified ones. These have the share of around 30%, I would say. So once you install the non-certified ones, you have to, the user, the industry has to carry the performance tests of that equipment during installation. This include stability check, which is kind of 7 days drift test, correlation test over the 3 days, which for valid calibration, you do have to choose for 0 and span and quarterly linearity test and annual correlation and RATA and RRA test, all these tests during installation and ongoing calibration and stability. So those equipments which have been chosen as a certified one, they have to follow the European model. Those which are non-certified ones, they have to choose the USA model. They are free to do that. Once they have installed the equipments, data supply, data transfer to the regulator and to for the use. There's a unique system in India. This is a kind of integrated data handling and reporting system India has established. So as you see in the picture, the data from ambient air quality monitoring, data of emission monitoring, and data of effluent monitoring also, all these monitors are connected through one integrated data handling system through IoT or data logger, which directly goes to the server owned by central and state regulator. Industries can have their own server, but in parallel to this, they cannot interfere in the data transfer directly from the CEMs or the device to the server. So they can take a parallel line to that, or they can also choose to use the central server to access the central server of the regulator through the given authority. This data acquisition and handling system can be accessed on the mobile through the app. The alarms and any communication which it is capable of through email, SMS, or web browser can be accessed, and the data can also be displayed on the dashboard. And it is supposed to be installed by the regulator, by the industry, where they can display it to the public as well as on their website. One of the unique things with the system, data handling system with India, is that, as I said, the equipment or the CEMs or the analyzer has to send the data directly to the central server. of the regulator, of the center or the state. There should not be any intermediate piece in between. It also helps in two-way communication with the industry, between the industry and the regulator. This also enables the regulator, if they see any inconsistency in the data coming from a particular industry for a longer time, they can also choose remote uh, check of the installations. What they do in that case is, using that data acquisition handling system, they can give command to the gaseous CEMs for zero in span check and see the response. This can be done directly by the regulator sitting anywhere in the office or remotely from any place, and they can see the response. All the activities carried on the data acquisition handling system or with the installation is recorded in that system. This is also popularly called in India as the remote calibration. It is basically a remote check, but this is one of the things which India has adopted. Now, this is the process of European model or a USA model. A simpler guideline has been produced by India, which we have helped into. But this guideline says that European model has to follow the European system, where you see and in the picture, uh, there are documents have been given, which refers to EN 15267, EN 14181, EN 14884, and the UK documents also for the calibration and other different documents. For those who are following US model, mean if they are installing non-certified equipments, they can follow the US documents, different 40 CFR, Part 75, Part 60, or different performance standards and quality assurance documents. They are free to do that. Installations of different kinds of CEMs in the stack or duct is the ideal condition which is followed across the world. One of the things would like to bring in here is that in Europe, like you follow the installation in the stacks where the equipment can be installed any point between 4D 4D, which is 4-dimensional upstream and 4 diameter, 4 times internal diameter upstream and 4 times internal diameter downstream. In between that, in India we follow 8D 2D. So 8-dimensional, 8 diameter, 8 times the internal diameter of the stack in the downstream, and 2 times of internal diameter upstream in between that. The first picture reflects that. The guidelines, as I shared before, it is being followed, and the Indian guideline refers to the US guideline and the European Union guideline. In the simplified format, calibration requirement is represented here. So the calibration for the PM-CEMs, they ask for triplicate sampling, 9 points, 3 load and 3 points, isokinetic sampling, recalibration yearly, zero span drift fortnightly, comparison of the CEMS data with the standard reference method 6 monthly, and no change is supposed to be done in the dust factor without approval from the regulator, and any major repair which affects the reading calls for recalibration, and 85% data availability is supposed to be done. One of the important thing here you'll see, which I've highlighted in the red, is data comparison, calibration, recalibration, all are supposed to be done by impanel lab. Something similar, which is also required for the same gaseous ones. Here the difference is it calls for multi-point calibration, which has to be done 6 monthly, calibration, recalibration, data comparison and calibration verification 6 monthly, zero and span drift is same as fortnightly, and all these equipments, which is DOAS-based, NDIR, NDUV, FTIR, etc., calibration revalidation is supposed to be done in 6 months. One of the things which I shared before is provision for remote calibration or remote check is there. Data requirement is 85%. And again, the comparison and data comparison calibration by impanel lab. Highlighted in red, I'm bringing to your to your attention is that these all jobs are to be done by expert labs. Those and there is no empanelment of such labs in India as of now for the same work. So there is huge gap. These jobs are being carried by the vendor, who certainly are not equipped and skilled enough to do the justice to this. So there's a huge gap of this. There's no indigenous empanelment system for the lab for the same job right now. It is under the process. And the industry, of course, are available, are very much aware and keen to get this done by an expert lab. So those laboratories or the experts who are capable of doing this can have this market on the ground. These gaps, which you saw in the rate, shows the accuracy of the data. There are multiple other challenges which I have experienced in the market while doing the survey, while doing the test and audits of these industries. I see there are many installations where the stack is not in the position where you find the correct point of installations. Many of the calibrations, many times, and most of the times, I would say the calibration is not complete and not properly. Performance tests for the non-certified equipments which are supposed to be done are not being carried properly. Many installations have wrong measurement range. There are some industries which have still following and having intermediate survey in between, which is not allowed. One of the major problem is non-standardized raw data. These equipments, CEMs is providing data in ppm on milligram meter cube, but the norm asked for milligram normal meter cube. It means the raw data which is coming has to be corrected for pressure, temperature, moisture, and oxygen or CO2. So which needs to be built in the software. Many of the times it is not there, and the industry as well as the vendor on the site not aware of that fact. So the data quality is not good enough for the compliance check. This is one of the problem. At this point of time, going ahead, these are supposed to be resolved. What I've highlighted here is lack of knowledge, skill across, not only for the industry, across the operators, regulators, and service providers is there. Although, as you know, that all the big suppliers are there, they have the base there, but on the ground, the skill set of the supporting staff on the ground is really questionable. Lack of calibration and repair labs is there. Lack of adequate trained on ground staff by the supplier and within the industry is there. Therefore, demand of testing and expert people to train them is there. So this brings and opens up the opportunity that there's a huge market, majorly for the laboratories who can do this kind of job, and for the Qual 1, Qual 2, and Qual 3 works and AST works, for performance testing, for the US-based model. There's a huge opportunity for them. There's opportunity for trainers and expert organizations to train the employees, the operators, as well as the suppliers and the service providers. But all these opportunities are much open for them, for these expert agencies and suppliers, which is for new installations, which is for replacement, and both for CEMs, effluent quality monitors, as well as for ambient air quality monitors. But they must ensure technical staff skilled enough on the ground to take things ahead. This is the summary of overall of my presentation. I'm not presenter side. If I can take questions online, I'll be most happy. Else, you can write to me, to my email. I'll be most happy to connect and respond to your queries. Thank you very much.